Our coverage of this mid-season surprise for the Colts continues now at 6.
Brad Brown is live tonight at the Colts complex on the city's northwest side, where the team will introduce the interim head coach later this evening. Brad.
Jeff Saturday will be that interim coach. Mark and Nicole, probably the biggest surprise out of all this is that the Colts are going to someone with no NFL experience to take over this team for the second half of the season. Frank Reich out after yesterday's 26-3 loss at New England, the low point of a season that has seen quite a few of those over these first 9 weeks, with the Colts standing at a 3-5-1 record. As for Reich, so many opportunities over the course of this season to try and figure out how to get this team going in the right direction. Last week, we saw the dismissal of offensive coordinator Marcus Brady. 2 weeks ago was a switch at quarterback. Matt Ryan out, Sam Ehlinger in. But all along, really from that very first week of the season that started with a tie, the Colts just haven't been able to figure things out. Over the 7 days leading up to this Sunday's game yesterday, Reich said it's going to fall on me, the offense on me. Well, then the offense went out at New England and had one of its worst performances ever in that loss. That turned out to be too much, and ultimately the Colts are going to be turning the page on week number 10. And the new coach coming in will be a name that's very familiar to Colts fans, Jeff Saturday. Now, he made his career here as 13 years as the Colts center. Well, over the last 9 years, Jeff has been an analyst with ESPN, appearing on NFL Live. Tonight, he was probably set to be on Monday Night Countdown ahead of ESPN's Monday Night Football telecast. And then in the span of about an hour, in the middle part of this day, he was getting the call that would make him the interim coach of the Colts to take over here as they get set for their game at Las Vegas this week. Now, given this all feels like a bit of an experiment, we're not going to lie. There are still 8 games left in this regular season, and the Colts are going to pin their hopes on somebody who's never done this before. We'll see how it all comes together over the course of this week. The Colts certainly aren't out of contention, even with a 3-5-1 record. They're still only a couple games out of the AFC South race, and if they could turn things around quickly, could make this very interesting heading into this second half of the season. But definitely a big-time change here mid-season, something we haven't seen in a very long time, and we'll see how it all plays out over the course of the next few weeks. But Mark and Nicole, certainly this shakeup is going to be much talked about over these next 6 days leading up to the next game coming up on Sunday.
Definitely shocked to get that push notification with the news today, Brad. So what has the mood been like for the Colts players, in the locker room just over the past few weeks?
Yeah, these last couple of weeks, it's been, I want to say, somber. The offense, of course, has been the side of the ball where the Colts have struggled. The defensive players have stayed very positive as they've maintained playing very well even through this stretch of losses through the month of October. But really kind of maintaining that support for Frank Reich, really trying to kind of keep some sort of a bond together. But clearly a change was due after these last couple of losses, and they're bringing in a guy who was very much a locker room guy when he was here. Jeff Saturday was a great leader with that Colts Super Bowl team, and really over the course of that entire decade plus that he was here, we'll see if he can bring those guys together as they get into this next week and this November schedule. It's going to be very tricky coming up.
All right, Brad Brown with us live tonight. Jeff Saturday returning to the sideline. Well, it took no time for today's back-to-back announcements to take the sports talk radio world by storm.
You're right. As soon as we learned about the firing of Coach Reich and the hiring of Jeff Saturday, we tuned into one show that's been taking off in popularity. And just like Jeff Saturday, Pat McAfee is a former Colt himself. He spent part of his show today highlighting a new precedent Colts owner Jim Irsay is setting.
Now here we sit, Monday, November 7th. Fires the head coach, which a lot of people have been expecting, I think, around here for the last few weeks. But Jim Irsay has never done this in his 25-year career as being an owner in the NFL, which is fire a coach in the middle of the season. And he brings in somebody that he was chatting with in the Ring of Honor, somebody that is still beloved by Indianapolis. Jeff Saturday, get your back in here. And if you can't fix it, nobody can, brother.
Very lively discussion on the Pat McAfee show today. Pat said that he wants to see more former players returning to the game. They went on to say Jeff Saturday has a draw with the fans and a connection which could help the franchise there.
He sure does. Yeah. Well, WRTV's Rachel Wilkerson has been checking in with the fans today since the big announcement came out. She joins us live tonight from Lucas Oil Stadium. Rachel.
Hey, Nicole, this announcement comes as a surprise to fans. Many say they were expecting a new coach to take over, but they weren't expecting it to be Jeff Saturday. Regardless, they're hoping that he brings a new energy to this team. Yesterday's performance by the Colts was frustrating for many. Several people told me that something had to happen to give the Colts a fresh start. Fans remember Coach Saturday as a standout center who played in the era of Peyton Manning, and that excites them. That momentum is something they're hoping to see for the rest of the season. When it comes to former head coach Frank Reich, they simply wish him the best.
I thought that it was expected.
Oh, I hate to see him go because I like him as a person, but I'd like to see the Colts improve.
I think he's very intelligent, very smart, been around the organization a long time. I think he'll help sell tickets, keep everybody happy right now, and that's what we need to do, keep the fans happy and keep them coming to the games. Like I say, there's a lot of people upset right now. I mean, winning takes care of everything.
Fans say they're excited for the change, but say that more work needs to be done. Reporting live from Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm Rachel Wilkerson, WRTV.
Rachel, thank you. You've also been sharing your thoughts at WRTV.com/vote now. We wanted to know how you feel about the Colts picking Jeff Saturday for interim coach. On a scale from I love it to not impressed, the average answer is good choice. Keep weighing in, though, on the WRTV app or by going to our live voting page on your phone, your tablet, or your computer.
And our coverage will continue live at 7:30 here on WRTV and streaming on our Facebook page. That is when we'll hear more about this leadership shakeup from owner Jim Irsay, GM Chris Ballard, and new interim coach Jeff Saturday. You can also find the latest right now at WRTV.com.